I just might lose a lot of subscribers for this video, and I don't care. The reality is you gotta call a spade, and we have to call out those in power when they make wrong decisions. And unfortunately, the EPA under the Trump administration is about to make a terrible decision, and you need to know about it, especially if you have a gasoline powered vehicle. Unfortunately, I have 3. Now, I'm pretty sure because people have differing views from me, I'm going to read some comments like, I told you so, I knew this was going to happen. It's coming. Here's what I like about people on this side of the house. We will call out the people we vote for, and we will be vocal. Now, unfortunately, not everyone's like this. Everyone will follow a party blindly, which I don't understand at all. And what's scary is we won't come together for whatever reason. In this country, we won't do it. And I just saw what we're about to celebrate this year. And how long do dynasties normally last? Let that sink in for a second. But regardless of it, if you feel as though you want to point fingers, I got something for you at the end of this video. So let's go ahead and get started with the article. I found this article on carandriver.com, and it says the EPA approves E15 gas blend for summer, hoping to get prices down. And that's an issue right there. They have other ways to get prices down, but this is the worst way. But regardless, let's read the article. The United States EPA on March 25th approved a temporary waiver for the nationwide sale of E15, a higher ethanol gasoline blend. The decision to approve E15, up from the typical 10% ethanol blend, is part of a strategy aimed at lowering gasoline prices, which have soared since the US began waging war in Iran. While some states have been approved to sell E15 year-round, the higher blend is typically banned during warmer months because of concerns that the higher ethanol concentration could worsen smog. EPA is working with our federal partners to reduce unnecessary costs and uncertainty and ensure that gas prices remain affordable for all Americans through the summer, the EPA Director Lee Zeldin said in a statement. This emergency action will provide American families with relief by increasing fuel supply and consumer choice. Now, most of you have probably seen at the fuel stations 10% ethanol for 87, 85 here in Utah, 89 and 91, 93 octanes. Now, obviously, in my opinion, the reason why they put ethanol in our fuel is because it waters it down, which saves them more money. I'm just giving you the ghetto version of it. That's just my opinion, obviously, but that's why we have ethanol in our fuel. Now, they'll say it does help increase octane, okay? They also say it does help with better tailpipe emissions. So those are the technical advantages of ethanol in our fuel. However, we'll keep reading this article so you guys can kind of get what's going on here, but I want to give you guys some of the disadvantages to ethanol in our fuel, especially a 15% ethanol. The article goes on to say the EPA's waiver goes into effect on May 1 and runs through May 20th, with the 20-day period using the full allotment allowed under the Clean Air Act. According to the EPA statement, the agency will continue to monitor the fuel situation throughout the window and is prepared to extend it if the situation doesn't change. According to a report by PBS, not everyone is convinced that the waiver will have a positive effect. For starters, not every state is set up for E15, and in some places don't have the infrastructure in place to ramp up the ethanol usage. Now, that was said by a professor from Yale. Now, additionally, Gilliam said that the higher ethanol concentration could have negative effects on older vehicles as well as boats and all-terrain vehicles. Jason Hill is a professor at the University of Minnesota who studies food, energy markets, and environmental consequences, told PBS that the waiver may not actually lower costs for consumers. According to Hill, the additional corn used for ethanol means less corn for animal feed, which will directly increase the cost to raise cattle and could trickle down to higher groceries. I think it's difficult to see when the ledgers settle how this is a benefit for the US consumers. Now, obviously, higher groceries is a factor, although I think that's more speculation than anything, but regardless of it, fuel economy is going to take a hit because there's less energy with E15 versus an E10, you are going to notice a difference in your fuel economy. And that is kind of why I say this is a very dumb move on the EPA's part. I think that this is not going to really save any money. It's just a way to make people feel good about themselves. And I don't want to feel good right now. I just want you guys to be upfront and honest about what's happening, right? But regardless of that, the biggest issue I see here is most manufacturers do not allow you to run more than E10. So you have to check your owner's manual to see if your vehicles can even be ran on E15. And I'm pretty sure if you have any failures and you're found running E15 in your truck, car, SUV, whatever, it's very possible they could decline your warranty for repairs. So be very careful on saving a few extra bucks on fuel to get E15. Now, something I'm concerned by is because of the infrastructure that we have in this state here in Utah, we're not really set up for E15. So are they going to just blend E15 in with the E10 fuel at some stations and not tell us? It's very possible. I hope that there has to be signage to show, hey, this is E15, because I won't use it. If gas prices keep going up, I just would drop a little bit less. You know, that's just naturally what I'll do. But yeah, this is a bad move on the EPA's part. I think that they really have to think this through, because this is not the solution. Now, depending on the make and model of your car, sometimes they'll put on the fuel door if the car can take E10 or E15. Now, these are both Toyotas. And if you go in, pop the fuel door, I wish I could just click it here, but can't. On this one, this is a 2023. It says up to E15, okay? So most of the newer vehicles are gonna be E15. Now this is a 2013 and it's gonna say E10. I already checked this one today because when I saw the article today, I figured I would check it. So yeah, this is up to E10. So in other words, if you have an older vehicle, most people who drive older vehicles are trying to save money, that E15 would benefit them. However, you have to have a newer vehicle for that E15 to be even something that could benefit you. So as I said earlier in this video, I don't think that this is really going to benefit the American people. So that's kind of why I said it earlier. This is a very stupid thing. It was done under the Biden administration. Did it work with them? I don't think it did. I mean, did it really bring prices down? No, because the infrastructure is not set up for E15. And if it's truly about helping the American people, and we're not going to be in Iran for a long period of time, why not just lower the taxes for the time being? That way it helps all people, even diesel owners. That's the biggest dilemma here. So one thing I'll also bring up, they can tune these engines to get better efficiency, especially for diesels. There's things internally they can do. I'm pretty sure some people might be willing to even go to an E85 with a little bit of tuning and updates they can do with their engine. So are the manufacturers in this administration willing to do what it takes to help the American people? And I'm going to say this again. Donald Trump has become Zion Don in my book. He has put Israel first. And nothing wrong with helping our allies when they're in need. Nothing wrong with that. But if they want to go to war, you do that by yourself. I'm sorry. You do that by yourself. So we don't have to help them against small countries. I would say that Israel is probably a superpower, because do they have nuclear weapons? I mean, yes or no? I think they do. I think they do. So there's no need for us to get involved in their wars, right? Just saying. But for whatever reason, we are. And here we are. And that's why I did this video, because this is not America first. And that's why we're in this predicament right now. Iran is in a totally different area code than us. And I know some people on the left, and if you identify as a Democrat, whatever, I know you're going to feel the need to want to say I told you so, but before you do that, I'm going to end off this video like this. Do you guys remember all the fraud that Nick Shirley was uncovering in Minnesota, right? I'll just say allegedly because you got to protect yourself. But regardless of it, I remember at the perfect time, all the ICE shootings had happened. It's so funny how that got really put at the top of the list for news medias. And it's funny how all that fraud went kind of mute. Hold your party accountable, please. Just like what you're seeing right now in California, brand new news coming out. Allegedly, they got voting fraud happening. They got people on camera. It's like clear. Hold your party accountable, and I'll hold my party accountable. Don't come at me with some BS like, oh, I told you so, boo, boo, boo. You didn't tell me nothing. See, I can tell you some stories why I won't vote the way you do, and you will have nothing to say. But regardless of it, hold your party accountable. We need to come together. Remember, a dynasty only lasts 250 years. And what year is this? And not much long after that, I should say. But again, it's up to you guys. If you want to keep fighting, we're going to keep going down like this. And one thing I've learned is if you don't give God reverence, I know that some of you guys may not be Christian. I understand that. But if you don't give God reverence, we will not win a war against any country. I promise you that. Just because we're big bad America don't mean that we are big bad America, because God's hand is stronger than ours. I promise you that. So repent, pray for this country, and let's come together, because at this point, it's like the end game.